Hey guys, so Teresa Juicy Tuesday tagged me on Twitter to do the 25 things you probably don't know about me, and I have to say her video was so entertaining. I really enjoyed watching it, and this was really hard to come up with. I feel like everybody's gonna say that because it is. It's super hard to come up with 25 things because I've been on YouTube for like 4 years, and I feel like I share so much with you guys that there's little that you don't know about me. So I really had to think. But she had come up with this idea after seeing, like, in Us Weekly, they always feature, like, a celebrity and then 25 things you don't know about me. And I love this idea. So it took me, like, probably two days to, like, just think about. I was, like, even when I was driving in the car, I was thinking, like, what the heck? And I was struggling. But I finally came up with my list. So wrote it all down, and I'm just going to get started. Some of these are so random. I don't know, so random. Number 1, I wrote that I absolutely hate licking envelope seals. Like, the thought of it even makes me want to gag. I cannot lick an envelope closed. So I either get one of those sticks, those like sticks you can get at Staples, or if Nick's home, I'll get him to lick it, and if nobody's home and I don't have the stick, I will just tape it. Like, I will not lick an envelope. The taste just grosses me out. Number 2 is I hate onions, but I love French onion soup, which is so contradictory, I know. But anytime there's ever onions in anything, when I order them, I always hold the onions. Like, I don't eat raw onions. I don't like them on my salad. I don't like fried onions, sauteed onions. Even like when I make stir fries and things, like I don't cook with onion. If the recipe calls for onion, I don't cook with it. But I die for a good crock of French onion soup. It's so weird, I know, but it's the truth. I have never broken any of my bones, which is probably a good thing. I'm 27, so it's pretty good. I guess I was a more careful child growing up and even now. Bananas, I can only eat them when they're green. If they have any bit of brown on them, I will not eat them. They taste mushy and I don't like them. It's weird, and some people cringe when they hear that I only eat green bananas because to some people they taste so bland and gross, but it's like the only way I can eat them, unless I'm making a banana bread, in which case I will obviously use the mushy bananas, but that's the only time. Otherwise, if I'm eating a banana raw, like not cooking with it, it has to be green. Piercings, I still have obviously my main holes pierced. I used to have 2 holes on each side, but I've since let them close up. And I used to have this thing pierced, which I think is called the rook, and since let that close up. I did that in, I think, high school or something, and a little bit through college I wore it, and then when I started a job waitressing, they didn't want me to have that in, so I put a band-aid over it for a while, and then I just kind of let it close and got over it. And I had my belly button pierced, which I have since let close up. I just was in a phase. I did it when I turned 18. I thought it was cool and totally regret it to this day. But those are the only piercings I've ever had. Okay, this is really funny. I hate this word. I'm going to just put it right here because I can't even say it. It grosses me out. When other people say it, like literally I'll just start gagging. Like I can't say that word. I don't like it. And the crazy thing is I love baking cupcakes and eating cupcakes, and that's usually one of the first things people say, and it just makes me cringe. It's such a nasty word. Okay, when it comes to money and savings, I've had this thing drilled in my head since I was my first job. My parents kind of like instilled this in me, that whatever money you put in your savings, you don't touch it. Like it's not there, you forget about it. It's there in emergencies or like for a rainy day. So ever since then, that's just always how I've been. Whenever I put money away in savings, I just forget that it's there. And I've never, unless it's like a complete emergency or something happens with my car and I need to delve in, but like it's so bad that even when I was younger, growing up through college, I had like a nice chunk in my savings, but when my spending money was low or like the money that I would use to pay bills was low, I would like ask my parents to borrow money, even though like I had a nice chunk of money in the savings. Like I just pretended it wasn't there because it's not accessible to me. So I would borrow money from my parents even though I had enough money in my savings. It's just always like the mindset that I've always been in, and to this day, which I guess is a good thing because it forces me to keep money in savings, but it's a little bit OCD and weird. So I don't have claustrophobia, but whenever I'm in a new place or a smaller, tighter surrounding, or like a movie theater, a place that's not familiar to me, the first thing that I do is check the exits. Like, where are the exits and what is my plan of escape? Like, also elevators, like, I don't mind going in elevators. They give me a little bit of anxiety, but as soon as I get in the elevator, always make sure I have my cell phone, even though it probably won't work if I need it. And I always check to see where, like, the stop button, the call button is. But yeah, anytime I'm anywhere new, I always check, and I'm always like, okay, if I needed to get out of here lickety split, like, how am I going to do this? What is my plan of attack? I just always think worst case scenario. Number 9 is I get completely starstruck so incredibly easily. And I'm not somebody that's met a lot of stars in my lifetime, and if I've met a lot of reality TV stars, like people from MTV. People from MTV Real World, like, get me by surprise and completely make me starstruck. When I was in college, there was always, like, I don't know, Real World Philadelphia was in town and filming, and we were at a bar and they all came, and like CT was there, and I was like, oh my god, like, I was just so starstruck. The biggest star I've ever met was Ellen Pompeo, and we were on our honeymoon in Hawaii. She was in an elevator with Nick and I. Like, he held the elevator for her, not knowing it was her, and I didn't even know it was her. He actually recognized her, and he was like mouthing to me like, Ellen Pompeo, and I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. And I just kept looking at them. She looked completely not like she does on TV. Obviously, we were at a resort. Her hair was up. She had a beach cover up on, no makeup, sunglasses. And I'm like, I knew he was talking about her. She was with her daughter and 2 women. I knew he was talking about them, but I didn't know who, like which woman he was talking about. So I just kept staring at them, and then I finally, like, it clicked, and I'm like, oh my god, Meredith Grey! Because I've, like, followed Grey's Anatomy since day 1 that it came on, and it's just one of my favorite shows. So I was completely starstruck, and I actually did go over and introduce myself like a complete obsessive fan. I acted like a 5-year-old little girl, but I don't even care, because I was just like, oh my god. And then I was literally like speechless the rest of the day, and everybody that I came in contact with at the resort, I was like, I just met Meredith Grey, and it was the best day ever of my honeymoon. Number 10, I know all 52 states alphabetically. I learned a song in elementary school for some kind of play or something that we did, and to this day that song has stuck in my head, and therefore I can list every single state in the United States alphabetically. Number 11, I have absolutely no tolerance, and my biggest pet peeve is rude people in customer service. And it's so bad that, like, I give it back to them. Like, I have had so many situations where I'm in the best mood and I go up to return something or ask a question, and the customer service people are so freaking rude. I have no patience for that. As soon as they cock an attitude, I just, like, am instantly pissed off, and I'm instantly, like, I just call them out on it. Like, one time I called Crate & Barrel to return something on my registry, and I kept hearing this on the phone. So I finally was like, is there somebody else I could talk to that's maybe a little bit less annoyed with me? And I say it in like a nice way, but it really makes them like, oh, and she was like, oh no, it's fine, I'm sorry. Or then, like, one time, I forget where I was, she was just being rude to me for no reason, and I was like, is there any reason you're being rude? Like, did I say something? And she totally was caught off guard and apologetic, and I just don't have patience for that. Like, if you're going to be in customer service, don't be rude. Like, this is probably the last place you should be working with people if you don't like people. And I just have no patience, especially when most of the time I'm shopping, spending money, and people are just going to throw an attitude at me. Like, oh my god, it makes me like, it's just crazy. Number 12, I'm obsessed with making checklists. I have checklists everywhere, specifically on my iPhone, checklists for everything. Groceries, a wish list, video list, and I'm obsessed with keeping them clean and organized. Like, even on my DVR, I hate when there's like lists of shows. So I like force myself to watch them and delete them and get rid of them because I love cleaning them up. I love checking stuff off, deleting stuff. Like, even if it's like a day that I know I have a lot going on, I'll like make a checklist on my phone, and like, oh, the satisfaction I get from checking stuff off my list is probably sick, but it's true. This is so random. Number 13, I was the Math 24 champion in 5th grade, and I don't know if anyone remembers this game, but it was a game, it was a card, and it had 4 numbers, and you kind of went against someone, and you had to figure out how those 4 numbers equaled the number 24, like multiply, subtract, add, whatever, and the first person to get it and say it would win, and I like battled every person in my class and became like the 5th grade champion of Math 24, and I thought I was a geek. I probably still am. This was funny. Teresa had this in her video. Sweats as soon as I get home. I'm most of the time in like dress pants or a skirt, and I am not like home and relaxed until I take my clothes off from work and put sweats on or my pajama pants. Like, then I'm truly like, oh, I can like relax. Like, I can't cook dinner in my work clothes. I can't walk Jake in my work clothes. Like, as soon as I get home, I quick change, take him out. Like, I just need to be in comfortable pants. Like right now, I'm in my work top and sweatpants. I'm not kidding. Obsessed with the Christmas season. Literally October 31st, which is Halloween, is the day that I start listening to Christmas music. I don't care how old I will be. Anything associating with Christmas is like, ugh, it just gets me so excited. Like the movies that are on TV and the music and just like the decorations and the lights in my neighborhood. Like I don't care how old I'll be. I'll always just be in the mood. And I'm a Christmas baby. I was born December 18th, so that probably has something to do with it, but I just am such a sucker. It's my favorite time of year, but that day, Christmas Day, it's like such a letdown. Like you build this all up, this whole season, and then one day it's like all over. I just wish like this Christmas season was a year long, because that would be amazing. Sex and the City. Today remains my favorite show. I never watched it when it was on air. Like, I don't know if I just wasn't into it or my friends weren't. I just never watched it. I remember being a freshman and the last episode was on and everybody gathered around in like the freshman dorm lounge to watch the finale. And I watched the finale, but that was the first time I ever watched the show. But then I think like 2 years after that, my friend had gotten the whole like series set for Christmas and she lent it to me. And I legit spent like 4 days going through each DVD episode by episode and watched every single episode from season 1 until the end. And I was like kicking myself that I never watched this. Like I was like, how could I have missed? This is the greatest show ever. And I just feel like so much of my, not my life, but like conversations I've had with my girlfriends or people, like it always is something, it's always like a Sex and the City episode. It's like my life. And it's just so crazy to me that I never like kept up with it when it was on. But like I remember that for those 4 days, like I did nothing except watch Sex and the City. Like it was crazy. Favorite movie to this day, Dirty Dancing. I could watch it 1,001 times over and over and over again. It never gets old. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a marine biologist. Now the thought of being a marine biologist, I feel like I don't even know who that is. Like, why? That is so far from anything I'd want to do. I wanted to, like, legit, like, work at SeaWorld with the dolphins and be a marine biologist. I don't know what I was thinking. Number 19, I have this fear of choking. Not myself choking, but people around me, specifically kids. Whenever there's kids around me and I see them sucking on a candy or eating a piece of pizza, I get instant anxiety and fear that they're going to choke. When I used to babysit for kids when I was younger, and we would always, like, the parents would always be like, you could just order pizza for lunch or dinner or whatever, I would take the cheese off of their pizza and throw it away because I was so scared that they were going to choke on pizza. So I don't know why they let me do it, but I never let the kids that I was with eat the cheese on their pizza, which is the best part ever. But like literally when I'm a mother, I'm probably going to be the most paranoid mother ever. I probably will never give my children pizza. I just am so deathly afraid that they're going to choke one day. Number 20, Jake almost was not Jake. And what I mean by that was when we went to the breeder, we went with the intent of getting a female puppy. And I had no intention, no desire to get a male. Nick really wanted a male, but Nick had never had a dog before, and I grew up with female golden retrievers my whole life. And so I was like, I don't care what you want, but I don't know how to raise a male. Like, we're getting a female. And when we got there, they had 2 females. The runt of the litter and the oldest they were both females. The runt had a lot of health problems, so she wasn't getting rid of her. She was keeping her and like nursing her back to health. And the older one was like, I don't know, there just wasn't a connection there. So then I finally decided, like, I agreed to the idea of getting a male. And Nick wanted Jake. He had a little blue ribbon, and I was like, I don't know. There was his little brother, who's Troy, who my breeder ended up keeping, had a brown ribbon, and I was in love with Troy, and I just wanted the little brown puppy. And Nick and I were like bickering back and forth. And I was like, no, I want the brown one. He's so cute. And Jake was like huge when he was a puppy. He was like this big, big puppy. And I was dead set on the brown one. And then there was a gray one too, which neither of us liked. But the breeder ended up keeping the brown one because she wanted to breed them, and she had them all tested to see like which ones would breed the best puppies, and the brown one was the best one. So I was super heartbroken, and it was like between the blue one, which is Jake, and the gray one, and we didn't like the gray one, so I was like, okay, let's get the blue one. And little did we know he would be the best thing that ever happened to us, and the most handsome looking dog ever. I just adore him. But it's just so funny because we totally went with the intent of getting a female and came home with like the second pick of the males. Okay, number 21. Thanks to my DVR, I no longer ever watch shows in real time. Like, there's hardly ever a time that I watch a show in real time, unless it's like a highly anticipated, like I can't wait to watch like Grey's Anatomy season premiere. I watched it in real time. But like other shows, I just can't stand the commercials. And ever since the DVR, like, I just was like, I'm always like, I'll just watch them tomorrow. Like, I can't stand the commercials. So I tape like everything and then I just watch them the next day. I rarely watch shows real time, which is so crazy. I've like become so spoiled. Okay, number 22, I have this fear that I'm gonna knock my front teeth out. Like, whenever I'm walking up steps or walking outside, like walking Jake, always in the back of my head is this fear that I'm gonna like trip and fall and like land on my front teeth and like knock my front teeth out. And it makes me like, ugh, makes me cringe when I think about it, but it's like literally always in the back of my mind that I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna fall and I'm gonna bust my front teeth, and like, oh my God. Oh, I've heard that happen to people I know, and it's like the scariest thing ever. Number 23, my first kiss was when I was 16 years old, and I was at a movie theater with this guy that I was dating. We weren't even like technically boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just dating. It was our first date, I think. And the movie we went to see was Heartbreakers with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Ray Liotta. And I don't know, he just started kissing me. It was the worst kiss of my life. Like, I think back to it and I'm like, oh my God, thank God I didn't let that scar me and never kiss anybody ever again, because that was the most horrible experience ever. First kiss at 16, and I totally wish I could get that back because it was a really scary, awful experience. Number 24. So at my high school graduation, they never called my name. They called me Rachel and my last name. And I could die because we had graduation rehearsal for like, I think seriously 3 days. And the same friggin' guy, my guidance counselor, read the names, including my name, for 3 days straight. He had been my guidance counselor for the past 4 years of high school. He knew who I was very well. Literally, the time came and they were like, Rachel, and I like looked behind me because I knew the girl behind me was not Rachel and the girl in front of me was not Rachel, and I was like, do I go? Like, my last name was said, so I just went. So for to this day, like, Rachel is, and I don't even know where he got that name because, like I said, it wasn't before or after me. And it's so funny because when you watch back the video of my parents, my mom goes, he just called her Rachel, and you just see me like looking like, do I go, or I don't even, is somebody else supposed to be here? Like, it was so confusing, and I was so upset about it at the moment, like, oh my God, 12 years of school and you can't even get my name right. Like, what an accomplishment, what a fail. And now I look back and it's like hysterical. They got my name right at college graduation, which is really all I cared about. And number 25, if I could meet anyone dead or alive, I would have loved to go back in time and meet my great-grandparents on my dad's side. I never got to meet them. They passed away before I was even born, and I just feel like, I just like wish I could have met them, because I just feel like it would have just like brought so much to my life, just to like know who they were and like have a memory or something with them. Like, I just hate that I never got to meet them ever. That really like breaks my heart, because they were like my dad's grandparents. My dad grew up with them, but like I don't know, it's just weird, and it's just one of those things that I just like, I just would have loved to meet my great-grandparents. So those are the 25 things you probably don't know about me. I hope this was somewhat enjoyable for you. I'm sure after I stop this video, they're all gonna like come to me and I'm gonna have all these things and I'm like, oh, I could have said that or I could have said this, but these are the ones that just came to me the easiest, and yeah. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I would love to see video responses if you guys can come up with this 25 things about yourselves. I would love to learn more about my viewers or fellow gurus that make videos. I would just love to know more about you. I feel like this is a really nice little quick insight into your life that you don't always get to see. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!